The one I'd like to be, a different side of me, yeah. You'll find a different side of me, like someone pretty neat.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Worthy Series podcast. I'm Shakita Taylor here, and I am so excited to have one of my new friends and someone who I just connected with at the Women's Expo on a really deep level. So today we're going to be talking about our bodies and body image and how we can get past this like mom bod mentality and move forward into just loving the skin that we're in. I have with me today Jessica Davis. She is an amazing photographer here in Hattiesburg. And just, I'll let her tell you about her background. But a short story is that I've actually known her for years. So our children were in the same class together a couple of times. But you know how it is when you're a mom and you have kids, you're running around and you recognize somebody and you're like, but it's so superficial. And then a couple of weeks ago, we both were at the Women's Expo setting up our booths, and it just became an opportunity for us to support each other and talk to each other. And we realized we had a lot in common. So I look forward to working with her in the future on all different kinds of things and excited to just jump in today. So Jessica, tell us about like you and your photography and like how you got into photography. Like, tell us how it all started.
Hi, so as Shakita said, I am Jessica Davis. I am the owner of Jalen Imagery, and I specialize in boudoir photography. I started in photography when I was really little. I've always had a camera in my hand. My first camera I ever shot on was my grandfather's camera. So, I've always been into photography. I've always loved it. Took a photography class in high school, but I didn't get really serious until about 2018, and I was shooting mostly families and portraits. But I knew I wanted to do something to help support women. Like I wanted to empower women because growing up in today's society as a teenager, as a woman, you're just constantly, it seems to be no matter what you do, you're going to get torn down by other people, whether you're skinny, whether you have more weight, whether you have long hair or short hair, it doesn't matter what you do, you can't win in today's society, it seems like. So I wanted to make sure that I could help empower other women. And, I heard about boudoir photography, but I was like, oh, I don't know if I could ever do that. I don't know if I could. And, I did it a couple times. And let me just say, those pictures were not great. My clients loved them, thank goodness, but they were just, I need to redeem myself on some of those. But then I found Matt Matthews online. He is an incredible educator, photographer. He is now a comedian, but I kept hearing about the name Matt Matthews, and I decided that I wanted to do my own boudoir session as a present for my husband for our 3rd anniversary. And
Before you tell us that, for people who don't know what boudoir photography is, what is that?
To put it in layman's terms, it's sexy. It's those sexy lingerie photos where you get all dolled up and you're posing in a sensual way and things like that. So if you think about women in lingerie and the sensual photos, that's what boudoir is.
Okay. All right. And I have pulled up your website. So before you share us about your experience with it, I'm going to share my screen so everyone can see not only what it is that we're talking about, but your amazing work. All right. So this is some of your work at your studio, correct?
Yes, some of them is at my old Airstream, which I used to use as my space, but some of them are at my studio, correct?
Okay, so for anybody who even logged onto this conversation and think we're talking about like taking nudes, that's not what we're talking about. That it is the body in a sensual, sexual way, but this is not something that's going to end up on OnlyFans.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, now you are sharing with us about your own experience and why, and you deciding to give this gift to your husband. Go ahead and continue.
So we were We were on our third anniversary. So this was 2018. I had my third child in 2017. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I've kind of got my body back. I want to do this, but I was still insecure about things. And Matt made sure to, put in our questionnaire, what are you insecure about? What is the things that you're worried about at the session? And when I got there with Matt, y'all, I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all a little bit of an embarrassing thing about me. I cried because I was nervous as all get out to be not only in front of this amazing photographer, but I was half naked in front of another man. Now, Matt is gay and he is not interested in anything that I have, but it was just it was a very overwhelming thing for me. And it can be very overwhelming for anybody that does this. But I just remember having such a fun time at this experience, and it was so much fun. And then I remember afterwards seeing the images. I remember looking at my husband and said, I don't care if you like them or not, this was for me. Because it helped me see myself in a different light, like all the little mom pooch that I was worried about and my stretch marks and things. Matt made it seem like, hey, look, this is my body after having kids. These are my tiger stripes. These are my things that made me feel empowered, and it made me love my body so much more right where it was. So I didn't have to be a certain weight or size.
So you and I kind of had this conversation at the expo a little bit, and I was like, oh yeah, pass, because like I got all these things going on, and I have come a long way in learning to accept my body and love my body. But it seems like so intimidating to like actually have my body photographed, not completely covered in clothing. So what kind of things would you tell women who are interested in this, but they are so self-conscious and so afraid of that it's going to be bad or that they're going to be embarrassed? How would you start helping women just kind of loving on the handles and all the things?
Okay, so I tell all my clients this, all my potential clients this, that are so nervous about it because they're worried about their body being not right. It doesn't matter what size you are. It doesn't matter what rolls or what stretch marks or anything that you have. This is such a confidence booster. I can tell you that every client that has come through my doors, every single one has been nervous and has hated something about their body when they came in. It didn't matter if they looked like a supermodel coming through my doors. Everybody has insecurities and everybody comes in really nervous, but then they leave feeling themselves. They leave with that super confidence boost. They leave, really is a thing. And you don't have to have a man to do it for. I originally did it for my husband, but then after that, I was like, I don't even care if you like it. This is for me. So, I constantly tell my clients, girl, do it for you, because this is for you to help you love your body right where it is.
I love that. I love that. I know that sometimes, I know personally, I have had situations where I'm like kind of criticizing my body and my stretch marks and pulling on my clothing. And I have two girls, and one is 15 and one is about to be 13. And it really kind of made me stop in my tracks when one of my daughters was like, oh, I need to do crunches and my thing so I can have a flat stomach. And I was like, chick, first of all, you weigh 100 pounds soaking wet. Second of all, like, she was in middle school at this time. I was like, you're in middle school. What are you talking about? And it became a realization that they were taking my lead, that they were only concerned about their stomach pooch and this and that because I was concerned about it for me. And so it was a real eye opener to understand that I don't have to say anything to my children about their bodies or my bodies, but our daughters and maybe even our sons are looking at what we say and do about our own bodies for them to take how they're going to care about their bodies and what they're going to do with their own. So even as far as body image and learning how to just be like, this is me. What happened? Like, what ticked off in your brain that after you saw the images, you were like, oh, I'm cute. Like, what did that change in your everyday life after you saw those images of yourself?
Okay, so after that, every woman gets out of the shower and looks at themselves in the mirror and is picking apart their bodies. I know everybody does it. But after those pictures, I realized, I was able to look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, I may have a little roll, but who doesn't love rolls? How many times have you gone to the buffet and not gotten a roll? I mean, like,
I love it.
so, who doesn't love rolls? And, I finally saw myself the way my husband has seen me for all these years. The way my kids see me. My 3-year-old wakes up every day, Mama, you're so beautiful. And it doesn't matter what my hair looks like or what my makeup's on. And of course, even after a boudoir session, you're still going to have those days. Everybody has bad days. Every day has those days where they feel self-doubt and stuff like that. But whenever you're able to look at yourself in that way and see yourself like, this is me. This isn't somebody else. This is me. And I do look like this, and so a lot of people really, really are nervous about that and they can't believe it themselves. But when they see the images, or when you see the images, or when I saw it, it was just a realization of like, even with my little mama pouch, and even with my stretch marks, and, even with my, crazy hair or whatever else, that was me. And I finally got to see myself in a way that helped me realize that I am beautiful just the way I am. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And it doesn't matter even what my husband thinks, but I am beautiful just the way I am.
That is amazing. Like, it's amazing because even being on this side of it, it is, and I attempted once upon a time, but it was an epic fail. But and I'll explain. So a long time ago, when I was married, I decided to do this kind of shoot, and because my then spouse was going to be deployed to Iraq. And so it was just kind of like a little thing. A lot of the military wives got together, but the photographer this was not his genre. So he agreed to do it, but it was like the things that I picked to wear weren't flattering and complimentary. And like, he didn't know any better. And like, it was just all these different things. So at the end of it, I ended up feeling like a little awkward. I was like, oh, because after I saw the pictures, I was like, oh, that wasn't right. I should have picked something else for this, but I couldn't see it in the moment. So I definitely need to do it again. I'm one of the terrified people. I am one of the terrified people, but you're making a believer out of me. Anyway, the interesting part about it is because what I hear you saying is after you looked at those images, it started healing the disconnect to what you see in the mirror and what you actually look like. It was like a moment to really, really see yourself through a different lens. And that is amazing. That is an amazing gift to give women. An amazing gift. So when it comes to people who are saying, or who feel like, what about if like these get out on like social media? What about if this? Like, what kinds of things would you say in safeguards and things that you take to say, hey, this is safe. Once it's given to you, you are the person who are in charge of what happens to these images.
So my client's privacy is my top priority. Of course, I want you to, I love it when people tell me I can share their images, because all that does is help empower other women. But if you don't want anyone to know that you did these, I won't even speak to you in public. I may smile at you, but I'm not going to speak to you in public. I'm not going to give anybody any clue that the boudoir photographer knows you. Nobody's going to know. So your images are obviously saved to my hard drive and things like that. But nobody has access to that but me. Nobody has access to my computer, to anything like that. And your images, you sign a form saying whether you want your images shared or not. And if you put no, then it's not going anywhere. I would absolutely not do that to anyone. I understand that there are people out there who are photographers who are creepy. I get that. That's why it's important when choosing a photographer, you make sure that they know what they're doing, especially in this type of genre. You want to make sure that your privacy is supported. Whenever I send your images to a lab to be ordered, they are ordered through a professional lab that handles everything professionally, and everything is boxed and shipped in an inconspicuous way. So nobody is ever going to see your images besides me and the lab I order from. And this is a professional lab that deals with boudoir. So it is not just Walmart the 16-year-old behind the counter at Walmart. This is not that kind of thing.
Okay, so moving past just the photo shoot, that you also do some different events and different things to help women kind of heal that disconnect between the person that they're looking at in the mirror and really who they are. And then not even limiting it, whether you don't like anything about your physical body at all, but then understanding that this is what you got and you got to love on it, you got to nourish it, you got to treat it well. And you have to not talk bad about it. And so tell us a little bit about like the workshops and stuff that you do that help women kind of start healing that disconnect that they have.
So there was one a few years ago. We did an event for young girls, for teenage girls. Me and my makeup artist, we put like a little workshop together, and it was specifically a teenage girl that inspired us that was considering suicide at the time, and her mom was looking for some way. And because of her, I didn't state her name or anything, but I put on this little workshop for these little girls, and we came and we taught them how to do their makeup, and we got their nails done, and we did photos outside of a community center. It was just very, very quick. We did photos outside of a community center and talked about, how they could learn to love their body, and they could learn to love who they are, and just kind of self-love. Something else I've done is through my boudoir business. One time we did some girls that were scared to come for a regular boudoir shoot. We did the paint thing where you paint your booty kind of thing and your handprint. And we did that around Valentine's Day. And we had champagne and chocolate covered strawberries. And we just talked about, life and things in general. And we did the little booty paint thing. And it was just a lot of fun for them just to kind of open up and see what was going on. One other thing.
I think that is something that a lot of people don't really recognize the value in, is having a safe place to be vulnerable and a safe place to open. We live in this society where everything is Instagram ready. Everything is like, oh, picture perfect. And we're all guilty of it. It's like when I woke up this morning, I was like, okay, I'm going to put a little bit of mascara on because I know I'm going to be on the camera. When if I wasn't going to be, I was considered. I was like, let me make sure my shirt is ironed. It's iron. But it's this pressure almost to be this level of Instagrammable perfection constantly. And no one ever reaches that level. So I think it's very important that you're creating spaces where women can get together, women and girls, and be vulnerable, be like, oh yeah, you needed a filter, so did I, but this is really how I look. And even though I want this to look well for Instagram moments, I am comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with how I look. I'm comfortable not being photoshopped. And so I love that. One of the things as a mom, I know your oldest girl is a little bit younger. She's 10 or 11, right? Your oldest girl?
She's about to be 11. She's in 5th grade.
All right. So my girls are a little bit older and my son is younger. And so answering the question, like, when do you allow them to wear makeup? It's like, so you want to, as a mom, empower them to love exactly how they look. But they say you want makeup. And so it's like, okay, how do I teach these girls to be okay with a little bit of accentuation, but without it, they are just as beautiful, just as worthy, just as amazing without it. And the answer, in my opinion, and you tell me if you have a different answer, is we have to model it. We have to model
Absolutely.
it. That's the only way.
So one thing that I do with all of my children, not just my girls, is we do daily affirmations. And I actually found that on TikTok. And it was like, it kind of hit home for me because now my 3-year-old is going around saying her affirmations and says, Mama, repeat after me, and telling me to do my affirmations. So, my daughter is in dance. My oldest daughter, she's in dance, she's in tumble, she's in all these things. And she sees the big girls that she's dancing with, and she wants to be just like them. And she gets so frustrated because my hair's not as pretty, this, that, and the other. And our rule at the house is you're not allowed to talk bad about yourself. In my studio and at the house, you're not allowed to talk bad about yourself. I don't want to hear you say that you're ugly. I don't want you to hear that you say your hair is stupid. You can say your hair is messy because that's a fact most of the time, but you're not allowed to say anything bad about yourself in front of mama, or mama's going to lay the hammer down. We don't do that.
I love that. I love that. So in the book that I just wrote, Infinitely Worthy, each lesson has an affirmation that I give, and then also a place to write your own affirmation. So people can write things that are good for them. And I don't think people really understand how effective, and you can say, you can tell me how it's transformed your life and your kid's life, is when you start purposely speaking positive things and things, how it started manifesting in their lives and your lives, and it changes your mindset. And it's like, you don't even realize why it's happening. Then one day you look up and you're like super positive and healthy, and your mindset has shifted, and you're like, what happened? So did you see a transformation change either in yourself or your kids or even your spouse when you decided that, hey, we're going to do affirmations, we're going to start doing this? Did you see anything change?
Absolutely. Especially, I notice it more in my 3-year-old because she's not going through puberty like the older two. She's not going through all these angsty stuff. But my 3-year-old and my 6-year-old especially, they are very much so. Like every time we get in the car to go somewhere or to go to school, they do their affirmations, and Grace Lou say, Mama, I'm going to have a great day. And when she gets home from school, it's, I had a great day today. And if she did something wrong, she'll say, well, Mama, I wasn't nice to my friend at school today, but it's okay because tomorrow is a new day. And I said sorry. Things like that.
Yes.
The emotional maturity from the kids because of doing some stuff like that. Just doing something as simple as what, are we caring? Are we kind? Things like that. You're so beautiful. And I tell her every day, and she says, I'm so beautiful. I'm so smart. And it's so funny because she's 3. She can't say some of the words correctly. So I constantly say, I am capable. And she goes, I'm capable. She can't say it real well, but she's been doing this for over a year now. And so she has got some attitude with it now. She is confident in her own skin. And same thing with my older daughter. She used to be so scared as far as dance stuff goes. And we say, I am talented. I'm a good dancer. I'm a good student. And it has changed her outlook on dance and stuff. Now, sometimes she may be a little bit too cocky, but it's changed her outlook on who she is as a person.
That's a good problem to have, though. Overconfident kids are way better. Because I mean, you can humble them a little bit, but when you starting off with a child who does not believe in themselves, it's like it's a lot to get them to believe in themselves. Yeah. Sometimes when you start this later in life, they're like, you have to like me, you're my mom. And I'm like, technically I don't, but I gotta love you and feed you and clothe you. Liking you is not part of the contract.
Yeah, that's what I tell my kids too. I don't always like you, but I always love you.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. So to wrap this up and bring it home, if there was someone who's listening to this who was like, this woman's crazy, there's no way I'd ever do that, I'm not, no, it's a no for me, right? And they didn't want to go as far as actually scheduling a boudoir photo shoot. What's in the middle? Hey, these are things that you can do to start just really leaning in to your body as a woman, your mom bod, and accepting it for all it is and having confidence with the skin you're in. What would you tell those people?
Affirmations. Affirmations is such a big thing. Take lipstick and write it on your mirror so that every time you look in that mirror and you are doubting yourself and you're looking at your stretch marks and whatever else, you see those words on that mirror. Cover up your mirror with words of positivity and things that you like. So when you stand out there naked, you're not seeing yourself. You're seeing those positivity, and you're drilling that into your brain every day. Every day. Do a regular photo shoot just for you. Do something that is just for you. Take time for just yourself. And that may not be a boudoir shoot for you. That may be headshots if you're a business owner. That may be glamour photos if you want to. That could be a day at the spa, whatever it is. But moms need to make sure that they take time for themselves too, because we cannot be the best for our kids if we aren't the best for ourselves at the beginning. We cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you are struggling with stress and anxiety and self-doubt and things like that, affirmations, do something for yourself, take a walk, go outside, eat some chocolate, do whatever it is that you can find time in your budget, because I understand there are things that are outside of our budget, like a spa day or a trip to Tahiti or something like that. Find time specifically for you so that you can feel better about yourself, but you've got to keep repeating positive words to yourself, and that's free.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So you would think that you and I sat down and conspired to be on the stage with this, but y'all, it is so crazy that like everyone who I talk to in different arenas, whether they're business people, whether they're teachers, lawyers, doctors, but everyone who has a healthy self-image, and then they're healthy mentally, all of them ascribe to affirmations. Some people don't call them affirmations. They say, I have meditation and prayer time. What meditation and prayer is thinking on things that are good. If you're Christian, that's thinking on things that are biblical. If you're not Christian and your people are always, we're going to manifest things that we want. What that is thinking and speaking things that you want to attract. And it is so powerful. So I am so excited about all the things that you are doing. I'm so excited about this conversation. And so how do people find you?
So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, my website. You can Google Jalen Imagery, and you'll be able to find me there. And I have, I'm on pretty much all the platforms, but I will say things like, what is it? Pinterest and Twitter, which is not Twitter anymore, whatever Elon Musk changed it to. I'm not really on that. But if you, Facebook is where I get most of my contacts at. I have a private only women's group that is just for women, and we just love on each other in there. And I post the photos that women don't want shared publicly, but are okay with sharing privately in there. So you can see some more of my work, and we play like little fun sex games in there and whatever else. So it's just kind of a fun place to be, just to kind of have a community of women if you're interested in that.
I am so excited, guys. Let me tell you, Jessica's doing some amazing things, and her work is a way to physically express the internal work and the internal gains that you're having inside. So please reach out to her to talk about whether boudoir photos or glamour or even family, just whatever you have going on. We want to make sure that women that are doing great things really get the advertisement and publicity that they need. I am sad to end this conversation, but I am excited about just empowering women. So guys, and to wrap this up, I am hoping and wishing that you guys would employ some affirmations. Take time to really speak to yourself about yourself, especially in areas where you feel that you aren't good enough, you're not enough, or you need some growth. Those are the areas that you need to speak to yourself about yourself. I am smart. I am beautiful. I have, I now call my stretch marks my war wounds. I have war wounds because of these amazing people that I've brought into this world, and just really start speaking to yourself about yourself positively. I look forward to talking to you guys later, and y'all have an amazing day. Bye.
Bye.